Well, now let's turn back to the State of the Union address for a moment. The Constitution requires only that the President, quote, from time to time give to the Congress information on the State of the Union. But over the years, that's become a moment of high political drama and solemn public rhetoric. And if you want to see how much the world and the President have changed over the last 6 years, just look back. Here's Nightline's John Donvan.
What a president says, as much as what he does, it becomes a part of history. It tells a certain story. And tonight was only the latest installment in this story.
We enter the year 2007 with large endeavors underway and others that are ours to begin.
And if you go back through the president's State of the Union addresses,
the state of our union has never been stronger.
You see that for him, certain phrases have been constant.
Showing that the state of our union is confident and strong.
All the way back to his first presidential address in this venue when he had served barely 4 weeks in office. His invited guests that year were a big city mayor who had taken on gangs and 2 average citizens who wanted lower taxes. That is the kind of presidency he was staking out for us. Plus this, hard to believe now.
And I ask you to join me in setting a tone of civility and respect in Washington.
He was setting himself up as president for the good times that America was enjoying. Because listen to the list of what we had going for us.
A balanced budget, big surpluses, a military that is second to none, a country at peace with its neighbors.
The President of the United States.
But by the following year, it seemed a changed man who entered the chamber and a changed nation.
Our nation is at war.
The turning point, September 11th, it had been 4 months earlier, and the U.S. had gone to war in Afghanistan. The list of invited guests now included a war widow and the future president of Afghanistan.
The American flag flies again over our embassy in Kabul.
Mr. Bush had discovered a new voice, the one he's never lost since.
Now America's embracing a new ethic and a new creed. Let's roll. Our faith is sure. Our resolve is firm, and our union is strong.
2003, the speech came only weeks before the U.S. would go to war again.
Saddam Hussein has gone to elaborate lengths, spent enormous sums, taken great risks to build and keep weapons of mass destruction.
It was a detailed accounting of a weapons program we now know did not exist. But no one in the chamber seemed to know that.
If this is not evil, then evil has no meaning.
And not the overwhelming majority of U.S. senators, Democrats included, who would vote to allow the war. The president's popularity that night was an enviable 59%. 2 years go by, including a presidential election, and the newly victorious George Bush still defines his presidency primarily by that one event.
In the 3.5 years since September the 11th, 2001.
But he had called his re-election a mandate, and now he intended to use it at home. He talked in more detail than ever before, more than 10 minutes, about privatizing Social Security.
And best of all, the money in the account is yours, and the government can never take it away.
But on these and other items, the Democrats, the minority as they'd been since Mr. Bush took office, they weren't clapping, nor did they join Republicans who waved ink-stained fingers, a gesture that spoke of the first free election that had just taken place in Iraq, where voters had their fingers marked. And the president saw a future of more of the same.
The victory of freedom in Iraq will strengthen a new ally in the war on terror, inspire democratic reformers from Damascus to Tehran.
Then, last year, and again, the same encouraging start.
Tonight, the state of our union is strong.
But a lot had changed in a year. Iraq was no longer a story of victory, and the president was admitting to more of the difficulty.
Our work in Iraq is difficult because our enemy is brutal.
And his first references to getting U.S. troops out of there.
We should be able to further decrease our troop levels.
And the applause lines?
We're in this fight to win, and we are winning.
Those were Republicans clapping, many for the last time, because the political tide was about to turn. Which brings us to tonight.
And I congratulate the Democrat majority. Congress has changed. But
yes, it has, and so did the way he hit the notes tonight. Because last year he said the U.S. was winning in Iraq. This year, only that the U.S. could win.
It is still within our power to shape the outcome of this battle. Let us find our resolve and turn events toward victory.
And where last year he spoke of decreasing troop levels, this year,
so we're deploying reinforcements of more than 20,000 additional soldiers and Marines to Iraq.
7 times. Most presidents never get that many chances to give this address, and this president on each previous occasion ended with another constant phrase.
May God continue to bless America.
Tonight, he flipped it a bit and finished where usually he begins.
The state of our union is strong.
And so does the story, until the next chapter. I'm John Donvan for Nightline in Washington.
And that's today's Internet edition of Nightline. Thanks for downloading us. I'm Cynthia McFadden. For Terry Moran, Martin Bashir, and all of us at ABC News, all the best for the rest of your day.
The president was hit. He is in stable condition.
It is the worst disaster in the history of the American space program.
I've never seen a royal wedding like this.
O.J. Simpson wanted on 2 counts of murder.
Relive the most dramatic days in history with ABC News. Download The Day It Happened today at iTunes.